2023 at 6:00 p.m. First thing tonight, I'd like to entertain a motion to approve an order of conditions.
You mean certificate of compliance?
I'm sorry,
That's okay.
certificate of compliance. Can you please approach
39.
the table?
39 Pinewood Drive.
34.
Oh, 34, I'm sorry.
34 Pinewood Drive. The agent has inspected the project and says it meets compliance.
I make a motion to approve certificate of compliance requested for 34 Pinewood Drive.
And a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Chair votes aye. Thank you.
If you could sign this. Page on my phone and send it to him. When's your closing anyway?
Supposed to be tomorrow, but then because it's so late, so we're gonna move to the 20th.
Oh, the 20th.
Yeah, that's Friday.
So I'm gonna give this to you,
Okay,
but I'm gonna retype the front page and email you just the front page
okay,
because I put 39 instead of 34.
okay.
I think originally the address must have been 39 because on my files it's 39. It's the same project, same property, everything, but
Okay.
thank you.
So Matt, do we have anything else we can discuss for 10 minutes before the first hearing?
Well, I mean, you guys can approve the minutes, and if you want to sign off on these back minutes, we can do that.
Okay, we can start those signatures. We've got 10 minutes before we can have the, 8 minutes.
What do we do, just make a motion to approve?
They've already been approved, we just have to sign them.
Okay.
If you want to just go through and sign all these minutes, that would be great.
Actually, I'll entertain a motion right now to approve the minutes for 12:15.
I make a motion to approve the minutes for 12:19,
12:15.
12:15.
A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye.
Also, I scanned the PDF, so it's
Okay,
good.
all right. Thank you.
So while you're signing those, just to I'll give you some real quick updates. The second hearing that was scheduled for tonight, the continued hearing for 16 Second Street, is continued again. The applicant requested it. He's not done revising his plans.
Okay.
Other than that, it looks like we've got just this one hearing. You're all set, Mr. Nguyen.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Have a good night.
All of them, or is there more?
We got more. When we get them all done, I'll...
Yeah, that's what I figured. I guess we got behind. gotta sign.
You're gonna get right as crap.
Mr. Marchetti, how are you, sir? Good, how are you? Very good, thanks. Did you come up from Leominster? How are the roads?
Oh, it was icy out here when I got out of my car.
What?
It was icy out here when I got out of my car.
You go slow, I fell once already.
Oh, you know, like I said, we had a lot to catch up on.
You want me to?
I'm gonna have your updated on the screen, but if you wanna put the board up anyway, that's fine.
We need to reprint these. Copy where it's not signed by him.
Oh, no, he can sign it, as long, I mean, a quorum approved it, so even if he wasn't here, he can sign
Yeah,
it.
they revised that, didn't they? That's new since you've been here.
Yep, that is. That was actually based on a recent, like, court ruling or something.
That's good.
And they also clarified to make it definitive, say like, for example, there are 4 of you here at a meeting, like Glenn's not here tonight. So there are 4 of you at a meeting, and something passes 3-1. If there's only 3 of you at the next meeting, and one of them is the person that voted to deny,
Yeah?
and I issue an order of conditions, the person that voted to deny can still sign off on the approved permit, because it was approved by a quorum of their peers. Or if that person wasn't present at the meeting and says, I don't really want to sign it because I wasn't here, you do have the option of being able to sign it to make the quorum.
Nice.
Still got a pile coming.
That has been withdrawn. The filing that he did has to be revised per order of the. Are you guys butters? Yes, that's why I'm here. Okay, well, I mean, it's on the agenda, it was withdrawn from the agenda, so we don't notify butters, that person does. So we're sorry for the inconvenience, but they should be back for the meeting we have in February, which would be the second Thursday, I don't know the date off the top of my head.
Front page.
You'll get new notifications. Yep.
Just the top one?
Yep. That's it.
No, not yet.
2 more minutes.
I'm foreclosing a house
So Brian, how are the roads?
How you doing?
See you on?
I took my Jeep just in case. So while you guys are still signing, I mean, I know, you know, you guys all, some of you have been up to the dam project already.
Yeah, I took a,
I mean, I've been up inspecting it regularly. I've been communicating weekly with the DEP on it because it's a superseding order. So I've been kind of standing in their stead, making sure the inspections were done. You know, I have some photos of the site I took today, photos, you know, just before they started of all the erosion protection up. And, you know, I'm basically conversing with the head of the wetlands program for the Worcester office over at DEP. Because it turns out that the supersedings get assigned to different DEP agents to come out and occasionally inspect. She actually took this one on herself. So, and I know she lives in a town probably about 25 minutes from here. So she probably would do it on her way home, but she also will be out to inspect as well.
what are they gonna do about the beaver dam that's like 100
They're not
yards?
touching it. They didn't have any, they didn't have any plans to touch it, but I actually went up today to do an inspection and met with them and their wetland scientist that's been monitoring the project.
Yeah.
And I reinforced to them in a very congenial manner that we really don't want that beaver dam touched. And they said they had no plans on touching it.
That's a whole different set of violations, you're not supposed to touch them.
I said, no, I told them that, you know, just, basically what I told them was leave it alone.
And it's gonna drain down anyhow. They actually probably slowed everything down for them. Had to have.
Well, according to their flow metering, before they took the dam down, we had that heavy rain at Christmas, just before Christmas. The USGS gauging station went up, I think it was like to 6 cubic feet per second from its usual 1.5. When they did the release on the dam, the max flow went up to only 3 cubic feet per second. And it's been maintaining around like 1.5 to 2 cubic feet per second now. And we have a very high, from what I've seen in the streams in this area right now, we're actually at April's mean annual high water line now because there's no frost on the ground.
Okay, we're going to go ahead and get started. Our first hearing of the night is for 226 Menominee Road East.
Okay, pursuant to provisions Mass General Law, Chapter 131, Section 40, and the Town of Winchton Wetlands Protection Bylaw, the Winchton Conservation Commission will hold public hearing on Thursday, January 12th, 2023, at 6:10 p.m. to consider the notice of intent filed by John and Susan Davis, owner of 226 Monadnock Road East, Assessors Map M4, Parcel 8. The proposed work includes replacement of timber retaining walls with modular block retaining walls along the shoreline of Lake Monadnock. Wall is within the 100-foot buffer zone. The hearing will be held in the second-floor auditorium at the Town Hall, 109 Front Street. Alternative translations and accommodations for disabled persons is available upon advance request.
Thank you, David. Could you please state your name into the microphone, sir?
My name is Brian Marchetti, civil engineer with McCarty Engineering, here tonight on behalf of John and Susan Davies of 226 East Menominee Road.
Okay, thank you. Matt, can you start us off on this one, please?
So this is a notice of intent for the replacement of a timber retaining wall with a modular block retaining wall along the shoreline, along the lake shoreline on the property. This does have a DEP number, 3450766. DEP had no comments.
Okay, thank you.
So this plan here you see is the existing conditions plan. East Menominee Road is here on the right side of the plan. The driveway comes in here to a two-car garage, and next to the garage is a fence here, but this is where the Davies have access down to the waterfront. It's a crushed stone up top, and then the remaining of the pathway down toward the waterfront is all sand. There's about a 60-foot railroad tie timber retaining wall along the water's frontage here that acts as just a step. It's a single course, one step up from the water onto the sand along the frontage. The dock rests on it. And what's happening is it's just a timber wall that's been, single course. It's been eroding over time. It's rotting. It's collapsing out. And we're seeing the same thing along both sides of that access down to the waterfront. There's about 70 feet or so of timber wall on the south side of the walk. There's about another 130 or so feet of timber wall that runs down toward the water frontage and then runs in a northerly direction toward the second dock. All of those walls are starting to fall. They're leaning, they're eroded. So the Davies have, they've teamed up with Kevin Young Landscapes. Kevin's the one who called me to look at this. I permitted several walls on lakefronts for him in the past. And what we'd like to do is basically replace this southern wall here in the same location with the timber wall. The single-tiered step along the waterfront, put back, same thing, in place with a modular concrete block wall that's going to be set on stone, so it's secured and anchored in place. And then the wall that runs along the northern side of the walkway, there's a terraced deck right here. It's kind of very disorganized along the water's frontage, and it's narrow in here. We only have about, call it 8 feet over here to about 10 feet. That's kind of sloped steeply. So what we want to do is demo this wall where it is now and just pull that retaining wall a little bit further back onto the hill. So The site plan here shows exactly what we want to do. As I said, we'll replace this wall on the south side in the exact location, same elevation, same height wall. It's only a couple, 2 to 3 feet for the full run up that drive, or the walkway. The wall coming down is going to start basically at grade, so it'll be flush with grade up near the house. It'll follow the slope down to about a 6-foot-high retaining wall at this corner, where then it's going to turn in a northerly direction and maintain that 6 feet of elevation. So due to the grade change, if we maintained what was out there, that wall would have been much higher, would have been about an 8 to 10-foot wall. So what we're doing is we're proposing this wall here at 6 feet, and we're just going to regrade the back 10, 15 feet toward the house. We're going to maintain a 2-to-1 maximum slope back there. It'll be stabilized, loam and seed, and a slope seed mix. And then we're proposing just a, like an ornate type of ornamental fence, just up at the top of slope for, you know, both safety and aesthetics. So again, this wall will just turn in a northerly direction and then return back to the full extent of where the wall started. So there's no additional wall being added linear footage. We're taking out this terraced wall here that previously held a deck. And we're basically going to maintain about a 20-foot wide beach frontage, you know, for their use in the summertime. So what that's going to do is, at least along the frontage, we're cutting the slope down about a foot or two. So, you know, at best, we're replacing the wall in the same location. We're not gaining anything more than 10 feet of frontage here, which it's out of the flood zone. There's no floodplain back off of the water's edge, but it does provide, I guess, a little bit more flood storage if the time ever came where the lake did exceed that lower retaining wall, which historically hasn't.
And by cutting that slope down, you're going to slow down the runoff, which
Yes,
also
it
would
will.
slow
It'll
down the
certainly slow
erosion.
down the runoff from the beach area. Yep.
Okay. Matt,
There's-
was it 5, excuse me, Matt, was it 5 or 6 feet for a wall that you said it needs a stamped engineering plan?
It's actually above 4 feet.
About 4 feet?
This does have a stamp plan, but it's going to need a structural plan when it goes to the building inspector's office.
And they're aware of that?
Well, aware of that. Our, the landscaper that we're working with right now, as I said before, we've worked with him in the past. I've done a bunch of walls for him. He works with several block manufacturers, so depending on the block manufacturer he picks, they do the wall design, and they provide the stamp drawings that he provides to the building inspector. So it will be
Yeah, and I've
stamped by
worked with Mr. Young's outfit in the past, and that's exactly what he does. What he'll turn around is he'll turn around and provide both myself and the building inspector with the specs on a wall that needs a structural stamp. So when he picks out the material with his client, he'll go back to the manufacturer, have them provide him with the stamped specifications from a structural on the actual wall going in. And that's based on the product, so, and Mr. Young actually does some pretty fine work.
So we're not installing anything new, we're just modifying what's already there and changing the layout a little bit, right?
Yes.
So it looks like all we're gonna need tonight is a order of conditions on how to conduct the work. Any questions or comments from the board?
I just have one question.
Go ahead.
Is there any trees in that area of vegetation that you're removing, or is it just brush?
So they have, you can see here along the water's front, they do have it's a small wall that's basically holds back a tree. There's one it's a nice mature birch tree that's along the water's frontage here. On the slope, it's a very steep slope right now. There's small immature stuff that's leaning. It's nothing big and mature that, you know, I think would cause any concern with.
No, I would agree with that.
I didn't do a walkthrough, so.
I have a question.
Go ahead, Lionel.
According to the layout of the map that I see here on the screen, the house is within the 50-foot no-touch zone.
Yes, it's an existing non-conforming lot. There's,
Are you taking the house down and then rebuilding?
no, this is just the wall. There were two agendas posted. One was corrected. The first one said it was a rebuild of a house, and so the
And that's what it-
information got mixed up. That's not what it
That's what I
is.
got.
This is only rebuilding the retaining walls. It's-
Okay, all right, thank you.
I'm okay with it.
Yeah, Lionel, just so you see, here's on the big screen, the revised agenda. And it shows the proposed work is for the replacement of a timber retaining wall with a modular block wall along the shoreline of Menominee, the walls within the buffer zone.
All right,
So it was corrected.
thank you.
Thank you, Matt. We have no other further questions or comments. Can we have a motion for a standard order of conditions?
I make a motion for standard order of conditions.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Chair votes aye. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much.
Matt will take it from here.
Great.
Mr. Chairman, it's 6:20, and you guys are probably going to be about to adjourn because there's nothing left on the agenda. I'm going to sign out of the Zoom option because nobody's taken the...
Well, we need to vote to continue this hearing, right? Because they weren't prepared? We can't
Yep.
just say it's continued, so we'll need a motion to continue the 16 Second Street hearing.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Chair votes aye.
Can I ask one question?
That's it, huh?
When, just so I can update the applicant, when can I expect an order of conditions
You'll have
to be
one,
ready?
like a couple of weeks. I got to type it up and everything, and then the guys are going to have to come in and sign.
Okay. So we don't have to wait till the next meeting to sign it?
No.
Okay, good. All right, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
No, I did that from the last meeting because I had a ton of them, and then there was the holidays in between, so...
Okay, Matt, now what was it? Sorry.
No, I just signed out of the Zoom option
Okay.
because nobody was taking advantage of it, and we're just about done, so. Usually if I throw up the Zoom and nobody's come on by 6:30, I'll sign out of it because nobody's going to sign in after that.
Before we adjourn, does anybody, well, we've already taken away the Zoom, so we'll just entertain a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Chair votes aye.